Yo. What's fucking poppin', everybody? It's been a while since we've had a stream, but for good reason, not much has actually happened recently, except for the last few days. And finally, we are ready to take action once again. Got the stream layout on the screen right now. If you can hear me, drop something in the comments so I know. Probably in the Discord, because I have this Discord up right now. So we'll get started right away. I don't think too many people are going to be joining in on the stream for a Monday, but nonetheless, we'll make sure to get through a lot of content today. Hopefully about half hour long max, just how I normally plan it to be. We'll go over half an hour. I'm going to try to rush towards that point, but half hour, get through the content, and get on with the rest of our day. So, is it quiet? Here, let me move it closer. I'm moving my mic a little bit closer if you guys can hear me. If it's a little bit too quiet, I can fix a few settings, but if it's good now, we'll get rocking. I keep saying hella quiet, hella quiet, hella quiet. Give me 1 second. Let me turn this up. Alrighty. Is that better? If not, you might have to deal with it. Turn up the YouTube volume if you can't. Alright, let me check something. I'll fix it real quick. If too many of you can't hear me, then we'll turn it up. Okay, so that, it looks like it's still a little bit low. Alright, 1 second. 1 second. Yo, if you guys are having trouble finding the stream after I added the entire server, you might want to rethink trading. I'm just kidding. But maybe I'm not. All right, hold on. Let me get it up. Looks like I suppressed it. Yo, yo. So I definitely am increasing it right now. I can see it on my end increasing. If it's not increasing for you guys, we got a problem. All right, someone banned Timmy from the chat. All right, is it good now? I didn't change any of the settings since last time, so and last time it was perfect. Okay, you guys said it was loud now. Timmy, give me the confirmation because it seems like you're having the biggest problem here. It's decent now. All right. Anyways, I'm just gonna talk a little bit louder. So I get too loud, just turn it down, but I'll talk louder into the mic so you guys can actually hear me. Anyways, let's get started. The whole layout for the day is right here. We're just gonna go through the checklist and mark it all off. Go through the standard sentiment that we always check: USDT dominance, Bitcoin dominance, and then we go into Bitcoin itself, high time frame analysis, low time frame analysis, and we look at what we expect in the next 7 days in the week to play out. Then after that, we will look at the S&P 500 because futures are open right now, so we can see a little bit of the sentiment that is going to be going into Tuesday. So it's a 3-day weekend, and then we'll check out some of the older plays that we had, and then talk about the new stream schedule. It's the same one, but I'll tell you guys what days we have things going on. All right, let's get into it. So first things first, we're going to go over the Tether dominance and Bitcoin dominance. Go back 2-3 months and check out how long I've been telling you guys about this, but we had the breakout for quite some time now. Tether dominance now getting, and it did go over 9%. Tether dominance well over 5%, where I said anything over this limit, right? Anything over these previous highs is a very, very bad scenario. This is like a crypto depression, right? The recession's already occurred. Right? The crypto recession has already started, and that was started as we started breaking 4%. We broke 5%. The depression is getting onto its way, and over 10% is, extremely bad, and probably another 50% drawdown from there. Oh shit, my bad. The fucking screen. Whoopsie fucking daisy. You guys didn't miss much. I'll show you guys the outline real quick. All right, here we go. I'll show you guys the screen. Here's the layout. You guys don't need to see it because I'll be going back and forth to it. We're on the first one, Tether dominance. Same thing. We've talked about this. I don't know how many times this should be ingrained in everyone's head, and you should see this in your dreams now. Is the Tether dominance was one of the main triggers for the extreme bear market that we've seen so far, with the 80 to 90% to 99% drawdowns on alts across the market and on majors across the market as well. Was seeing anything above these previous highs here, ended up getting it, and ended up seeing and furthering the extreme bear market that we've been experiencing. So everyone should have been ready for this. It happened very slowly. So it wasn't in a single day, right? Each of these candles is 1 week of time. This didn't happen all in one day. This happened over the stretch of 70 days. You had 2 months to prepare for this. 2 months of me yelling in your ear about this, how it's going to get worse, how you shouldn't be buying equities, how you should be going risk off at these times. And lo and behold, that's what happened. Congratulations if you followed. Next up, Bitcoin dominance. This one was a little bit more actionable because we could take action on this analysis. The analysis for dominance was more of getting out of the market. The analysis for Bitcoin dominance was taking a position based off of this. And the position obviously was shorting Bitcoin dominance, where we made a nice chunk of change there. About a 10% move to the downside. Some people have asked me, when trading Bitcoin dominance, what charts should we be looking at? And it's not going to be the chart I actually have down here on the bottom. You need to be looking at BTCD, and it's going to come up with the Bitcoin dominance perp futures. This is the actual one that correlates with the delta values that you have when you're trading, and that's why you trade Bitcoin dominance and you see $1,500, $1,400 values. and you don't see this 44% value. But again, there we go. We had the actionable insight of seeing Bitcoin near 50% again. Again, go back to the previous videos and see where we talked about this. This is another thing we've ingrained in your head is anything towards this upper band, this red rectangle we made as easy as possible for you guys. Anything towards this level, we're going to expect another potential alt run, right? And I said last time, one of the things that I don't want us to get into the habit of is just because we do hit this, red zone here that alts are going to run, 40, 50%. The actual event that happened here was alts ran against Bitcoin. So we can take, for example, Solana, Sol against Bitcoin here, and we can see that the run has been, what day is this? We'll take June. I think this is the bottom. June 9th and June 12th. June 12th, June 9th. So this is the exact period. So both of these periods, this exact top, the literal tweezer top you see here, right at the 48% zone, was the exact bottom right here on Sol versus Bitcoin. And then as you can see, it probably ran 40, 50% here. 45%. So that's a 45% move against Bitcoin. Now, what some people did get confused about is Sol itself hasn't ran that much, right? Sol maybe has put in a little bit of work, but definitely nowhere near a 50% move from its lows of June 9th. If we can find it. Yeah, here's June 9th. I mean, it is actually even under its June 9th lows here. We'll go to June 12th. Here's June 12th here, and it is maybe up 15%. So to take in consideration the Bitcoin dominance and where you can get actionable insight is not just, once Bitcoin dominance tops out near that 48% range where we've seen altcoins go absolutely berserk before. The play here was actually taking a short position on dominance instead of taking a long position on the alts, because the alts did not move too much, right? The alts actually didn't move much at all if you took the June 9th position. It actually is break even in the same price since that day. So the actual actionable insight was either taking marginal positions against your Bitcoin. That's going to be moving into altcoin because the altcoins outperformed Bitcoin during this period of time, i.e. the Sol versus Bitcoin chart, or taking the short position on Bitcoin dominance. So there's those two, and that is the first part of our outline today. We'll go over this pretty much every stream because this is one of the most important things to take a look at to least get an overall macro view of what's going on in the market right now. So congrats, all the attempts we had to take an actionable plan based off of both of these charts we look at consistently. We've done it and we've been able to profit off it. So it's been good. Now let's talk about what I expect to happen. The next thing I expect to happen, I think the last time we streamed was, I forget the date. It may have been late June or late May, or early June. The next thing I'm expecting is, as much as I would love to see Tether dominance break out of 10% and give us like the most gnarly Bitcoin depression we've seen in a while, I don't think it's going to happen that easy, and this will roll into one of the key concepts I have that's actually has to do with the legacy markets and futures being open for ES right now being up over 1%. I do think that this is going to have a fairly large markdown phase, most likely within this month and going into summer. As we know, summer is always a great time for equity markets and always a great time for crypto in particular. Now going up Bitcoin dominance, what I still expect a lot of people to move into Bitcoin, right? I do expect this chart to mark us back up. I don't really think we have much of an opportunity anymore to see 40% Bitcoin dominance anymore. The only reason I think 40% Bitcoin dominance would ever occur again would be the death and the trust and the credibility that crypto brings. That event may be, well, it's already happening. A lot of these DeFi projects, unfortunately, going under, imploding on themselves. We've heard about Celsius limiting withdrawals. That's a trust factor, and that goes against the idea of decentralization. This is extremely bad for cryptocurrency and the potential in the future for mass adoption. Extremely bad. Those events in DeFi that are wiping out billions of dollars pushes the narrative for people to not invest in crypto and find other avenues, right? So they can park their money. The more and more you think about it, the more and more you yourself may not even trust the markets you're trading. I know it's been like that for me. If I was someone investing millions of dollars in a Celsius as a savings account, and I get an email within a week of pretty harsh market conditions that they're limiting my withdrawals. Now I can't limit any, I can't withdraw any money from this platform anymore, and it's being held hostage. Extremely, extremely bad scenario that would be, and it's occurring right now. So the event for Bitcoin dominance to go lower is Tether gets a lot more dominance, and we would see 10% on Tether dominance and lower on Bitcoin dominance as the entire market pushes into stables, and no one would even trust Bitcoin anymore or any of the majors, as the entire DeFi market destroyed credibility for the rest of us. So don't expect Bitcoin dominance to fall too much more. I do think we're gonna get a bounce fairly soon. I mean, you can see this very standard trend line we have here, and we did get the bounce immediately from it fairly recently. So a bounce to be had very soon here on Bitcoin, and a bounce and a drawdown on the market cap for Tether dominance, which also means a bounce in equity markets and altcoins and majors across the market right now. And we'll go into some of the longs that are active right now and what I think about them. Next up, we will talk about the Bitcoin high time frame sentiment. This one will be fairly easy to go over. One of the main points here is what we recently bounced from, which was a 2018 point of interest, which was pretty much, and you guessed it, was one of the highs of 2018, right? Almost picture perfect here, catching some of the very, very high time frame previous supply zones that we had here, 2018 all-time high, and then into the relevant bounce that we have today. Now, other than that, there isn't much else to say about the high time frame analysis, that we have lost pretty much all value that was near the 30K level, and we have lost the value that was sort of near 25K level. I remember talking about this was one of the major points of fair value gap, where we had a bunch of orders, lying here to get filled again. As you can see on the weekly, the candle has, stripped right through this. So we've read through this, leaving massive volume nodes on the sign, and we'll go into these in a second on what I mean by these, because you can see I do have a few of these listed: weekly high volume nodes, weekly high volume nodes. These are areas of interest that we're going to want to see bounce from or reactions. Next up, we're going to go lower on the time frame. The last thing I do have to say on the weekly is everyone always has the question of, where do you think the bottom is? Where would the bottom be? Just from a standard visible range volume analysis, you don't have too much going for you if you are a buyer in this zone, because the inevitability of finding true buyers is a lot lower in your range here. As you can see, a lot of buyers will find confidence towards these volume ranges and these volume pockets. A lot of our naked volume ranges are between this 20K zone all the way up to 30K zone. So anywhere between here, and I say this quite a bit whenever I talk about this indicator, is anything between these low volume valleys can move very fast. Anything between this low volume valley moves very quickly in and out of it, because a lot of the major players who are on the top or the bottom side of these, who are buying or finding their sell orders, don't care about anything in here. They don't care about any orders within here, and they'll let retail go PvP and have them take each other out until they find point of interest that they want. So I do think we'll see a lot of volatility, and I mentioned this a few days ago in the Crypto Archive channel on Discord. A lot of volatility is increasing right now as market caps drop significantly. As market caps drop 80%, it now takes 80 to 90% less money to move these assets. It takes 80% less money now to move Bitcoin, to move Ethereum, to move anything, right? This is probably why we're seeing from the bottom now, right? Bitcoin is normally not known to, move, 8% or even, 20% in a single day. We used to have to wait 3-4 days for these 20% moves. Go to Ethereum. Ethereum's the exact same way, and this, this coincides with the idea that as these market caps drop, they can only get more volatile because it takes a lot less money to move these now. And I think the obvious one here is Ethereum dropping 50% in 8 days, right? This is probably the only example you need to understand the concept of, as money moves out, as it takes less money to move these assets, you need to be more and more cautious of the position size that you're putting in, and you need to increase and maybe freshen up on your risk management a little bit, because a 50% drawdown in 8 days is not something to shy away from, and we've had some of the largest liquidation, seeds ever, like literally ever, that I've seen in the past 3 months. And I think we had over $1 billion in singular days and multiple days in a row. So going back to Bitcoin here, we have to do low time frame analysis because unfortunately, as I said, we are within that low volume node. We do have a lot of these bottoms I'm looking for near that 12K, 14K, 15K that I would start bidding again, right, for my spot buys. Fortunately, we're not there yet, so we're going down to the lower time frames and we're going to figure out exactly what we're watching or what we're hoping for because volatility shall ensue and we need to structure this up and find what market structure is what market structure is telling us right now so we can make some type of, actionable insight based off of this. So if the volume's still low for you guys, unfortunately, I've done all I can on my side. We'll get it better for the next stream, but you turn it up and you'll be good. Otherwise, if you want to know all the notes from the stream, I'll just be posting them in the crypto archive anyways. So if you're not even in the Discord, then unfortunately you won't be able to see the Discord notes after that, but you guys know how to get there. First things first, and one of the first things that I do want to note is at what price do I see some type of high time frame change, like some high time frame shift in the current trend? And this should be obvious because we've talked about this a few times. It's going to be on one of the high time frame strong highs that produce the relevant lows into a potential point of interest, which would be, as you can see at this, let me actually bold this. At this bolded arrow, the break of 23,000 here is also a confluence with a very, very large weekly high volume node. So you come into this break, right? The idea here would be we see a markup phase past this supply that's been tested once, right? Here's the supply, give us the breakdown, tap supply, break the high, make your new higher low, wherever the higher low may be. It might be within this fair value gap here, make your higher low, and then we can start trucking on our way to break this potential strong high. Well, it is a strong high, potentially break the strong high, break into the weekly high volume node, and then have your harsh rejection back down, potentially back down to the previous supply flipped into new demand. And then at this point in time, when 23K breaks, we can sit back down and say, all right, the high time frame potentially can shift structure here, and you can start looking for aggressive longs instead of being short bias like we've been, over and over and over. Now, that's the quick analysis. That is what I'm expecting for a bullish case scenario. We'll move into a few alts that I do want to trade because Bitcoin particularly isn't the one that I want to be on my long list. You guys know I've already long Link and I've already long Maker. Those two we'll talk about in a second, and why, especially Maker, and we'll go into Aave as well. So with these two DeFis, I want to long when we get into the case that this 23K breaks and the rest of the market marks up very quickly. So we'll go over the SPY first. So we'll talk about ES right now. And ES is currently over, as you can see. No, S&P 500 futures are currently over 1.25% or 45 points up on ES right now. This is huge, right? So a lot of you who don't trade the legacy markets, who don't trade stocks or options or futures markets, a 1% move on any indice, especially coming over a weekend, is a massive move, and this should bring pretty much, and I can almost guarantee you, all major stocks will have a gap up come Tuesday morning. Go look at Tesla tomorrow morning. Go look at Meta. Go look at Facebook. Go look at Microsoft. Go look at Apple. Go look at Amazon. They will all have gap up, SPY off gap up. Unfortunately, we have seen periods where this gap up can relieve itself and instantly take itself up, and this is the perfect example for you guys. The day after the FOMC meeting on June 15th, we had almost a 1% markup, and look what happened the next day when market opened, as you can see. And you had a almost 4.5% gap down. Now, that was after FOMC and after inflation news. We don't have any of that coming out right now. That's actually, influencing this move. So this move is very bullish for us. Knowing that ES futures is this green, and we can check out how green other futures are as well. 1% on Dow Jones. 1.5%. It only shows 1%. It's 1.5% on S&P, 1% on Nasdaq, and 1% on small caps. Everything's looking, beautiful for a bounce right now. However, don't let the green, trigger too much dopamine in your mind, because a lot of the green and bear markets trigger too much dopamine and trigger too many people to switch bias, because being bullish is so much more fun than being bearish. You'll get burnt very fast over leveraging to the long side, because you see a few days of green. And as we know with Bitcoin, a few days of green don't mean shit if you mark down 50% the next week. So don't go bullish immediately. There's key levels to trigger your bullish scenario. $23,000 on Bitcoin. Get that into your head. That is a bullish triggered scenario, and then you have your pullback back into new demand that was previously supply, and then you can aggressively get your longs again, and then until the next bearish phase would break. And that exact bearish phase, I believe, would have to be a break of 19,500, or even a break of this weekly high volume node, which would be 19,000. So again, if you see anything below 19,000, consider the potential bullish scenario here invalid, especially if this level does not break. Now let's get into the fun. We'll review some of the old plays that absolutely smacked, and we're very thankful to take these and make some good money during the bear market, especially during very choppy conditions. First one was E-Gold. We talked about Bitcoin dominance, so I won't go over Bitcoin dominance again, but we'll go over E-Gold. E-Gold, fresh play. One thing that led me to look at this was we go to the top gainers list and we try to find high flyers that don't deserve to be high flyers anymore. And E-Gold was one of them, with over a 40% markup in a single day. A 40% markup right into a 4-hour fair value gap. And also, I think if we go in a lower time frame, there's even a bearish order block here in the middle. And as you can see, taps the 4-hour fair value gap perfectly, marks down immediately. You have a few more wicks here, massive supply, and then you have one more wick that taps your supply, and then to the downside you go. We were to catch the short fairly early. I'll post up the analysis. I want to say most people took this. Hopefully it was an amazing play, but I want you guys to learn from it. Let me show you guys the before. Here's the before. As you can see, we had the 4-hour tap. All we want to do is we see the 4-hour. We're very, very close. At this point in time, as you can see in the picture, we're very close to that 4-hour gap. Very close to the 4-hour. That might be Storage actually. I think I pulled it wrong, but they're the exact same play. As long as you can get a short position very close to that 4-hour gap, like we did near $57.25, take the short position with confidence, because you can easily stop out right above wherever the 4 value gap ends. It was a fairly large gap here, but we did have limit orders in the middle, and then played out as everyone would expect. Their favorite plays would play out with complete drawdown the entire time. I think we maxed out about 25%. Okay, that's E-Gold. We'll go to Storage A. Storage A, same play, right? Very same play, but something happened on Storage A that we should talk about as well, and that would be the launch pad from our TP3. So Storage A, we had a 1-hour bearish order block within a 4-hour fair value gap. How much more clean can it get? You have a markup from the bottom, which was a 33% markup in 24 hours. Yeah, we short those. It's a bear market. 33% move in one day does not mean the market is switching bullish and you should start longing again, right? Your exit liquidity into these key points of supply. And that's exactly what happened here. Key point of supply tapped once. We got our short positions in on the next down candle, which was about 48 cents, and we took it down for just about a 5-6% move to first TP, 10% move to the next TP, and a 15% move to TP3. We did have limit orders within that bearish order block zone. Never got tapped, but we did take the market orders earlier. Now, one thing to note here is how you can find a lot of these key levels. It should be fairly obvious how you can do some of these, and it's using the visible range profile to find out at what points in time will you find some sort of reaction from price. And you can see from these major high volume nodes that you just put a line here and you can see reactions at each and every level. And then this one, obviously you have your breakup structure previously, and this is a lower time frame breakup structure. So great play, but the one thing to note is that we did have a massive spring like one of the largest springs that we saw in the entire market. I think StorageJ is the top gainer right now within the month, I want to say. Hits our TP3, we're out of the short position and bounces 56%. Massive bounce. Now, one thing that we should be more proactive on when we're taking short positions in the market is you can have a short position open and you can open a long at the same time as you start hitting TP2 and TP3 and you start expecting a bounce, right? Because if you have these, large, take profit points and you start getting to the last ones and start, shaving off your entire position, we can look to take these long positions, especially after it bounces on this previous high supply and you get this massive bounce. Also, you didn't even need to take the bounce from the low here. You easily could have waited for this fair value gap to get filled and then a retest back to the bottom and still have about a 20% move. So great short on StorageJ, great lesson on taking the short to long position, which can be very fruitful because if you're paying attention to one asset this long, right, you already have it charted up. You already have the bias ready to go, right? We already knew where the gap was that needed to be filled in order for it to swap to a bullish sentiment. And there it was, got filled, retested, and took off again. So again, don't try to trade too many coins. I would say if you have success trading one, keep on trading it and switch biases back and forth, and you'll be able to take multiple profits on 2 different directional biases. All right, next up, we have the 2 most recent ones, and we'll go over Link first because I want to end on, they're both my favorite right now, but I do think Maker is going to be more of my favorite here to come. So first up, Chainlink. We've been talking about Chainlink needing a few different things in order to go fundamentally bullish for the long term, and this is node validators having somewhere to stash their cash that actually isn't selling it on the open marketplace. And that place to stash your cash that's now in the open marketplace is, drumroll, it's staking. It's having Chainlink Foundation offer some type of protocol to incentivize these node validators getting paid in Chainlink to stop pushing selling pressure on the market because they're getting validated, they're getting paid in Chainlink, and then they have to sell to pay themselves, right? You can't pay your mortgage in Chainlink, right? So what they do, they get validated, paid in Chainlink, sell in the open market, and get paid. Now, they need some type of assurance that just because they get paid in all this Chainlink, they'll have some type of avenue to put it away, stake it for 5, 10, whatever it is, 15% a year, and this will take all of the validator artificial selling pressure out of the market and finally give Chainlink a little bit of room to breathe. And this happened about a month and a half ago, and now it's been on the hot list to watch this asset and make sure that we're getting some type of entry, long position entry, under that key level of about $8 to $9. And we're still under there, and that's why I still think this is a fantastic position. To go over the analysis, we ended up taking the true entry we wanted was down here, as you can see, at that 570 level. We did not get the entry because it hasn't filled yet. However, we did end up taking additional market entries, which we took right about here at that 612, 620 level, because I said we're going to take the market, we're going to take the limit entries, right? Then we're going to buy it on the market. We're going to market buy these long, and then we're going to take it long for however much it gives us, and hopefully, eventually we'll get filled on these 570s. If not, we end up just buying it higher for less yield. Again, standard trend line here, and a lot of the retail techniques have been hitting fantastically lately. Breakout, retest, and you get maybe a 10% move here, 15% move. Nothing to shy away from. These are massive moves that you're getting on a lot of these coins that are now fractions of how much they were worth a very long time ago. Chainlink, one of my favorite positions to take long right now. Also, there is a relevant break of structure that has occurred, right? We have strong high here that produced a new low. The new low would be a point of interest from some time back in, I don't know, 2018 probably. A lot of the point of interests that have been triggered recently are 2018 and before. Again, you have your break of structure, bullish break of structure. Breaking a strong high is very bullish, and then you mark up for a higher low, bullish break of structure, trendline breakout. How much more do you want? It's looking great to take long positions on Chainlink. Fundamentals look great. How much more do I need to say? Moving on. Maker. Now Maker, I suggest if you want to chart this one up, do it on Coinbase. There's a little bit more data than Binance has. Maker has pretty much one of the most beautiful setups that anyone could really ask for right now. and I think it's still a long, as Chainlink I still believe is a long position. We have a supply zone that has been respected for over, this is 500 days here. Now this is longer, this is 900 days, right? This is almost 2.5 years of just straight respect at, what is this? Let's call it 700. Yeah, we'll call it 700. 700 respect. Now, I don't care if you're, overcomplicated SMC trader or whatever you trade. If you see this, put away your bias, because these hold, right? We've had a few plays in legacy markets where we find a lot of these, lower cap coins come back and test, 2001 or 2005 levels, and they bounce immediately. Respect them, because they will give you respect as well. And that's exactly what we got over the last few days. Maker takes entry into the point of interest at the $700 level, and bada bing, bada boom. There you go, a nice 30% move. We were able to net about, I want to say 10% of this. I think we're at about 10 to 13%. I don't know where our entry was. Our entry was 788. It was right here. It was within the zone right here. We have about 15% profit on Maker right now. I still think Maker's a buy. I still think it's a very strong position to hold. I don't know if we'll ever get entries at 750, because it's looking like we're going to break this internal structure high soon, and potentially the next, key level, the key psychological level at $1,000. We'll see what happens on this coming up. But Maker, strong position. Maker in the DeFi market, unfortunately, so a little bit of fundamental basis to back it on a bullish bias, but the structure and the long-term value of that 700 level being retested finally after about, I don't know how many days it's been since it's tested, but this might be 500 days. There you go, 500 days since it's tested before. But there you go. Respect the trend, and it will respect you back. Very, very strong position here on Maker. Unfortunately, for a full bullish swap, it's still bearish, right? I'm not going to come here and say that, we have a lot of these coins switching to the bullish side yet, but there are triggers, right? We're going to react, not predict. The reaction levels for some of these key moments to swap Maker bullish will be over $1,000, and then height, that will be internal, and then we do have a long ways to go for this one, unfortunately. I'm sorry for that, but another 36% move until we can tap this high volume node, and also these strong highs that end up producing these extremely weak lows here. So keep eyes on that. Those are some of my two favorite coins, Maker and Link. Still great buys, and we're up on all of our buys right now. It would be great if we could get filled in the lower entries. We'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. I did not finish SPY with you guys. Again, SPY's up over 1% right now. We're going to see gap ups tomorrow morning at 6:30 for PST, and then 9:30 for you guys on the East Coast. There's going to be gap ups, and there's going to be a lot of money inflowing to the market, and potentially, as we've seen every other time there's relief bounces, a lot of FOMO. So I expect to be a nice, decently green week for the stock market. I do expect a lot of relief rally to come to us, and a lot of bounces here, and a lot of the sell side liquidity to get tapped into, okay? So we have a lot of it to hit. There's a lot of sell side liquidity here for us to tap into. I think we hit it this week, and that's a bullish sign for the next, what do we have, 4 more days of trading opens. So we have 4 more days, short week, but we should flow fairly nice here. And that, I also think, will bring us over into Bitcoin. Potentially, it's not too far. It's 10% away. 10% away, right? Maybe by the end of the week. End of the week, we can maybe get our 10% push, as ES and the indices are pushing as well, right? All they need is about a 2 to 3% push to hit their sell side liquidity, and then at the same moment, we can hit that 23K bullish trigger for Bitcoin, and then we come back and we buy it on some retest, on some demand zone that hasn't formed yet. We'll have to wait for that to form to actually enter that, but that's what I think will happen this week. A relief week in of itself, still macro bearish. Do not change your macro beliefs based off of a single daily candle. We're going to need a lot more to get out of the trench we're in right now. And yeah, that is, for most of the analysis, that is all I wanted to talk about. We have altcoins, like, and we're looking at Storage right now as it rails to the upside here. We do have a lot of altcoins that are going to be breaking a lot of these supplies. You can see, breaks its supply, retests its supply, and absolutely just jolts another 10% to the upside here. Now, I do suspect we have Link and Maker do this, and I want to talk about Aave as well, because I think Aave is going to be in the same realm as Maker. We're at 45 minutes now. We're a little bit over what I wanted, but it took us about 10 minutes or so to even get the stream started. So we'll keep it cool now, but Aave being another one of my favorite positions to start taking because it moves in tandem a lot of the time with Maker. Unfortunately, the chart isn't as nice. We could maybe look at Aave on Binance or on Coinbase here. We have a little bit more data on Coinbase. Not as much as I would like, but they'll move in tandem with each other. And I do want to focus on a lot of these DeFi synthetic yields because I think that they probably deserve the largest relief bounces in the entire market because they have drawn down a lot worse than anything else because they have been getting scrutinized by the entire community. Well, not them being scrutinized, but they have been given out and over leveraging themselves on loans. Maybe giving out a little bit too much than they should to people that shouldn't have the loans and then imploding themselves. I'm sure you've seen all the people with their massive liquidation levels. I think it's Ethereum has one of the largest single liquidation to happen in history. It will be coming up on Ethereum, and I think it's at about $700. So if Ethereum hits $700, we'll see one of the largest liquidations on chain, and this is on the Aave Finance where it would be taking place. So those are three I like: Aave, Link, Maker. I'll have a bunch more coming in the week as structure forms, and hopefully as ES breaks out, this is pretty much one of the key components we need to continue with some type of relief strength. Again, I don't want to call it bullish strength because the strength isn't bullish. It is going to be that quote-unquote dead cat bounce that we see. Relief bounces in bear markets can help you and make you rich, but again, you'll make a lot more money playing the downside here. So don't get too bullish fast. I do think relief is coming up this week. We've played a lot of the downside already. It's about time that we see a little bit more of a run from the altcoin market. And hopefully, for the sake of everybody, 10% on Tether dominance is a little further out in the future than we think. Okay, the next, I think I had one last coin to talk about, which is BNX, because I saw someone talk about it in chat, but BNX is like, I got nothing else to say about BNX besides it has been recession proof. It has been extremely strong against all odds, and I can't tell you why. I don't know the coin. I think some of you have told me that it's a Binance crypto game. I can't confirm that, but structure is very bullish. It broke an extremely strong high. I tried shorting this like probably over a month ago. It took out a strong high a while ago, and it's been grinding up since that day, up 25% since then, while the rest of the market is in 50% drawdowns right now. So BNX, a short soon. When? I don't know. It is most likely going to be your lottery position that you're going to take, but a decent lottery, maybe. The structure is so bullish though that you need to go extremely small in your position sizing, and maybe even take longs at these levels. I mean, this does not look bad at all for longs whatsoever, right? You're taking longs on a retest, maybe to the upper side of this trend here. Who knows? You have 11% upside, and then again, 25% upside to the next bounce. So BNX probably going to be one of the greatest shorts that you'll see coming up. I would love for it to break these highs and give us, maybe a 170 test, and then we can short it because we shorted GMT last time. We said it was probably going to be one of the best shorts. GMT down over 90% right now. So BNX, I'll look more into it to see what's holding it up and why aren't people selling it. But keep your eyes peeled on this because as long as the market stays macro bearish, this will be an amazing opportunity for a lot of people. Okay, that's everything. I'll see if there's any questions that pop up. I don't think there should be. But thank you guys for tuning in. I know it's a Monday. Everyone's out with their, you know, I think we just had Father's Day and it was the Juneteenth. So recording will get posted. I'll post the notes. Notes will be very short and easily digestible for you guys to make actions on. And then we'll get to it this week. Remember, micro bullish week. Looking for a bullish week here, guys. Link, maker, bullish. BNX, soon short, probably long now, honestly, because the rest of the market might push it up and it'll move in tandem. For my boys trading stocks and options with us, should be a great week, especially if you swung calls over the weekend, because there will be a gap up here. Pray that a June 15th aftermarket doesn't occur and we'll be good to go. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'll get the mic fixed next time so it's not, apparently it's very quiet for a lot of you, so I'll get it fixed next time so it's not too quiet. But catch you guys next time.